Christina. So good body position. Your hips and legs are high in the water. You got a good reach forward, however you're reaching in front of your head, and that right arm seems to be crossing in even more so than the left. So you want your hands as you reach forward to go directly in front of that shoulder. So the left hand goes straight out in front of the left shoulder, right hand goes straight out in front of the right shoulder. It's just a better initial starting point. You get more of a good catch using your lats if you can start from that position. Comfortable breathing, so you're not raising your head to breathe. That's good. And from this angle, what I look at is streamline, so your torso, hips, legs stay in the same line that your upper body is creating. That's good. And then rotation to both sides also looks good. So as far as the above water stuff that you could work on, it would really be just where you're reaching your hands to. So hands in front of your shoulders, and you'll see more of that here. So right now you can see how your hands go in front of your head, and right hand, actually both of them seem to be almost crossing all the way across your head. Yeah. So that's a matter of just a few inches, but that will make a difference. And then underwater, looking at your right hand. So once you start to catch, you have that second category of pulling, which I call a straight arm pull. So it means it's the second best way to pull. What happens is that your forearm and upper arm essentially are staying in the same line or the same angle. And what you want to move towards is the high elbow catch, or the early vertical forearm, which means that your hand and your forearm take a vertical angle. Same thing on the right arm. Excuse me. So the first one was the left arm. This one right arm. I always confuse those. They're both roughly the same. What that means is your upper arm would still be pointed forward, but your hand and forearm would be angled down. And that's what really creates the leverage, gets the grip on the water. With the straight arm pull, you don't get the full amount of leverage that you could until a third of the way into the stroke, when your forearm is really starting to angle down towards the bottom of the pool. At the end of the video is a freeze frame of each arm, so you could see in like slow motion what your stroke really looks like. Kick looks good. Kick is supportive of the strokes. And then here, just looking at the path your hand. So once you start pulling back, you're doing a good job. You're not pulling too far into your body or anything. It's just the starting point, the very initial starting position of your hand. It can be a bit more off the side. So left arm here, entry, extending forward, rotation good. Hand is a little far in, or close to your head, in front of your head I mean. And then you start the pull, and what you look at is the forearm angle and upper arm, basically a straight line there. So a straight arm pull. And it's not until you get here and here where you're really getting maximum sort of leverage / force out of that stroke. Whereas with a high elbow catch, you could get that earlier in the stroke, which would create more speed, more propulsion. The finish of the stroke looks good. You're pushing through all the way. Meanwhile, that right arm came in pretty close to your head, and then angles forward and down. So kind of a other side here. So you want that hand to be a bit closer to the surface at the initial point, and then angle of the upper arm, forearm roughly the same line as well. Long story short, a lot of one-arm drills, thinking about the early vertical forearm is going to be helpful. Doing a modified catch-up where your hands don't actually touch, but you kind of pause the stroke and think about, getting set for the catch will be helpful. And then a doggy paddle drill where you're just focusing on the first part of the stroke, really working on the technique of the high elbow catch, early vertical forearm. And then a good finish on this right arm as well. So pretty good all in all. Just keep working on high elbow catch.